Hey everybody, welcome back. We're theme park professionals who love what we do so much we do it at home. And we're going to show you how to build your own as well. On this episode, we're talking about our new Prohibition Party and the designs and plans. Let's do it. Okay, so for this episode, we are going over our new Prohibition Party. And that means if you are going to the party because you were invited or going to get an invite, this is going to spoil everything. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, spoilers. One thing I want to mention now is that I'm sure everybody's heard of Roaring Twenties parties. And those are really common for this time period because they're a lot of fun. We are doing that as well. But what we really wanted to do with this was to really keep the prohibition part of it in. And that is to say that alcohol was illegal. And if you were to go to a speakeasy, which essentially is a place to drink that you're not going to get caught drinking, which is usually hidden and secret, that you were risking a little bit to do that. And you were with a bunch of other people. As you know, Kevin, there were a lot of different people from different walks of life. Women cut their hair short and went out on the town and went to bars. This is not something that they would have been doing a lot of at that point. And they were joined by all kinds of people in different classes, and it was really an interesting time.
It was really exciting for people to go to these places. They intended, for morality reasons to make alcohol legal and make everyone very straight-laced, and they accomplished exactly the opposite thing. They inspired people to go out to weird locations that weren't even usually bars. Because,
shady.
Yeah, bars were illegal, and so everything got, you had gangsters and what's basically the mafia bringing alcohol in. So while that sounds terrible, it was actually a really fun time for everybody for the most part, and a lot of different walks of life got together, and there was a lot of great music that came out of it, and we still look back on that time as like a really fun time in American history. So that's why we picked that time period. So we're doing a theme park at home, and we want to put that across to people. So I'm going to throw it back to you, Jeff. What's the first thing you come across when you come to our party that's coming up?
Well, as usual, we have people go through something before they actually get to the place where they're hanging out with each other. So what you'd call the party. So what we're doing is in my front yard, we're building a 20 by 20 building or so. And we're going to allow guests in this building in groups where each group won't see what the previous group did, or the people behind them won't see what they did. And they're going to have a little bit of an escape room interaction with some actors before they go past this room on our side yard to the back. And this building is going to be themed like a pharmacy.
Or like a corner drugstore in the mid-20s. And that's what it's going to look like on the outside and on the inside. People went to these places to meet up. Ice cream and Coca-Cola were very popular in those days because of the prohibition on alcohol. But actually, doctors wrote prescriptions for alcohol, which is a big loophole in the whole situation. And so they also filled those prescriptions at drugstores. And it was just like a local place to meet. So this is the first place you go to, and you find a way to get through this drugstore into an alleyway, which is heading back to the main party area. Now this alleyway is going to be themed like a mid-1920s alley. There could be like some businesses in there, mostly closed. There could be a barber shop, some sound effects, some props, just something to set the mood. And then you're going to find your way into a mechanic's garage, which we're going to be building in the back of Jeff's house. So tell us about that.
So you're going to have to be able to get into the mechanic's garage because it's a speakeasy. So the deal is with the mechanic's garage is that it was just a common place. So people back then wouldn't go to a speakeasy that was a bar. You went to a speakeasy that was behind somebody's something or other building. So we've turned this, what looks like a mechanics garage on the inside, into everything's pushed aside, and there'll be a dance floor and a band playing, and there'll be a bar to the side where you drink. And basically, this is where most people are going to be for this event. So why don't you tell us about the band?
Oh, so exciting. Well, we want it to be immersive. If you go there and it's just like a regular band you hired, right? It's not going to be the same thing as if it's like a real 20s band. And, we could spin records or do something like that, but this seemed like a more authentic and immersive thing to do, was to have a real band. And so I'm a musician. I grew up around this kind of music too because my parents were musicians, and we wanted to bring some authentic 20s music to it. So the band should be really good. We're working on it already. We're about 6 months before the opening of this party, and we're already building the buildings and getting ready for it. There's a lot of work. So a band, a dance floor, a bar. There's like kind of a mezzanine or a balcony area where people can sit and eat or hang out, which is above the regular level. Now that sort of goes up a hillside a little bit, which we dug out already, right? So we've done all this earth moving for this, and it puts the ceiling height of this building at about 12 feet. It's going to be a pretty large space. And there's going to be a few other secrets that we're not going to tell you about. A lot of actors, kind of always something going on in there, and some secret plot stuff happening. We can tell you about one theme park aspect of this, which is going to probably be the most technical part of this, right? So we're not having a roller coaster, we're not doing something like that, but we are having a motion base. Which is like a car. So why don't you tell people about the car? Because this is your end of the deal here. How's this going to happen?
Well, we do have special effects other places and other show elements and show action equipment, as we call it. The Eloise has some, as you mentioned. The pharmacy has some. And in conjunction with the acting, we do have some in the main room as well, the mechanics garage. But the main thing that we're doing for this event that's technical is we're going to have a Model T simulation ride. And basically it'll be a motion-based platform that two people can ride at a time. We'll have a driver and a passenger, and the driver will be driving. And we have already shown that in our last video, or the video before. Episode number 1 had a little bit of our prototype modeling of the car. You want to bring that up?
Sure. Now, this is what we're talking about here is two things. There's something that's like a video game and a motion base. Can you quickly describe for me what a motion base is, and then we'll show the video?
Sure. Basically, a motion base is a base that has sits on the ground and then has motion above it. So if you're sitting on it, it moves back and forth. Some examples of this would be Star Tours is exactly like that. The Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland ride is a motion base on top of a moving platform that goes down a track, like a dark ride, essentially.
Basically, kind of like a simulator then.
Right.
If you were watching, if it was Flight Simulator and you were turning your yoke this way or that way, then the motion base might tilt in the direction to give you the sensation of going that way. And so on top of that, we have someone who's doing a great job here on a kind of like a game that goes along with it. So I'll play this.
So as you have a driver, and the driver is making the car move by turning the steering wheel, and as you turn the steering wheel, the motion base will move a little bit with you. Like in this section, in this video in the park, you go up and down to some degree, like right here, and the motion base will go up and down as well. To some extent, not a large extent. You're not in a fighter plane, you're in a car. But basically that's the idea. And the passenger is going to have a gun, and they'll be pointing it at the screen that's in front of them and be able to do the shooting that you see right now. It will be approved from this to some degree, but oh man, it's going to be fun. And this is it's just something that's going to be running, and it won't have a score or anything. It's just going to let you have some fun driving around and shooting stuff. But it's still going to be a lot of work because the motion base requires some way of moving it. We haven't quite figured that out yet, but we're going to deal with that. And so all of these things we're going to be going to in great depth in the future videos. We'll talk about the audio and the effects that we're doing, and the all the guns, and how we make the simulator ride work, the pneumatics, hydraulics, actuators, what we end up using for that. And the music, we're going to go into the band and pretty much everything.
Well, that might be it for this episode. I hope that we've whetted your appetite to learn more about this stuff, and you'll get a chance to learn about how to make your own motion bases and your own theme parks at home. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on notifications so that you know when we post a new one, and by all means add a comment so that we'll know if you liked it and what you liked about it. If you have a question, please ask. And also social media.
Right. So we also have Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and pretty much everything. The idea is just to connect you wherever it is that you want to be involved in what we're doing. So yeah, ask questions away.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's all the time we have for today.
Till next time,
this has been Theme Park at Home.